Okay, so what I'm going to show you in this video are some calculator tricks for figuring out these answers. All right, on number 1, it says multiply and simplify. And so the way that we do this by hand is we are going to distribute the number in the front. All right, so we're going to distribute the negative 2p to everything in these parentheses. So negative 2 times 2 is going to be negative 4. And then p and p squared is going to make p3. Then we have to distribute negative 2p to negative 9p. So negative 2 times negative 9 is going to be a positive 18. And p is going to make p squared. Negative 2p times 1, well, negative 2 times 1 is going to be negative 2. And then you have just a single p from that term. And then you just got to check and make sure that none of your terms are the same. You don't have any like terms. I have P3, P2, and P, so none of them are the same. And this is my answer. Now the calculator trick for this. If you have a multiple choice question and you type in your original problem. Now when you're looking at the calculator, this screen, you cannot type X's in. If you type X's into this screen, automatically, I know you did something wrong. You never type X's into this screen. So if you have variables, you need to go to Y equals. Let me clear my calculator out. All right, there we go. All right, so we're going to go to Y equals. And I'm going to type my original problem in. Negative 2, I have to type X instead of P because the calculator doesn't like P. 2x squared minus 9x plus 1. Just be really careful that you type in everything correctly. So if you notice, the very first thing I type is a negative, and then if everything else is a minus sign. All right. If you were to type in a minus instead of a negative and try to graph it, it's going to give you an error. If you go down to go to, it's going to go to the thing that we didn't like. All right, so we know that's going to be a negative. Now here's one of the bad things. If you type a negative here instead of a minus and you go to graph, it's going to graph it and you're going to get the wrong answer. Okay, so when in doubt, put a minus sign. All right, most of the time you're going to want to use the minus sign. All right, so when in doubt, use a minus sign. All right, so I typed in my problem, my original problem. And then you're going to go through and you're going to type each one of your answer choices. So I'm going to type my answer choice here, negative 4x cubed plus 18x squared minus 2x. All right, once again, x instead of p. Double check, make sure you did it right. Take your time when you're typing in, and then hit graph. And you should see that your two lines are exactly the same. So you see how it covered it up? I'll do it one more time. All right, so watch the graph. So the blue one's your first problem, and then the red one is your answer. So when you're going through your multiple choice, all you really got to do is graph them, and you pick the one that's the same graph. All right, so let's look at number 2. So I know if you had a multiple choice, you could go in here, and you could graph it. All right, so here's my graph. And so if I hit graph, I'm picking whichever multiple choice answer is going to give me this exact same graph. All right. Now in your review, you don't have a multiple choice, but you can use your calculator to check your work. All right, so we're going to distribute. So I have to distribute the 7k to everything in these parentheses. And then I'm going to distribute the 1 to everything in these parentheses. So 7 times 4 is 28. And then between these two terms right here, I have k squared. 7 times negative 3, negative 21. Okay. Then I got to distribute the 1. 1 times 4 is 4. Okay. And then 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. Then I'm going to combine these terms right here. The 28k squared is going to drop down. I'm going to combine these because they're both k's. So I can add them up. So I can add negative 21 plus 4, and that's where I'm going to get negative 17, and then minus 3. All right, so that